direction is opposite, line is the same. Now next theory is a very, very important theory. Torque on a dipole placed in the uniform electric field. Consider a dipole as shown in the figure kept in the uniform electric field E. E is towards the right. This is minus q charge and this is plus q charge. Two charges separated by some distance in space. Consider forms a dipole. So dipole P is at the center in this direction. Its direction is from minus q to plus q. Now plus q charge will experience a force, that is F is equal to QE in the direction of E. Minus q charge will be experiencing force in the opposite direction, that is against the electric field direction as shown in the figure. Now these two forces, the net force F net is equal to QE minus QE, and that makes a 0. So dipole placed in a uniform, I say uniform, remember don't use the non-uniform word, it is totally wrong for this theory. It is a uniform field. In uniform field, net force is 0 because both the forces are the same. Here field strength is same E, here field strength is also E, and charge magnitude is the same. So this charge Q will experience the force QE in this direction, and this minus Q charge will experience the force minus Q in this direction. That is, both are in opposite direction and they cancel. So net force F is 0, but torque is not 0. So dipole placed in the uniform electric field experiences no net force but experiences a torque. Why torque? Because these two forces are not collinear. They are not along the one line. If they are along the one line, they won't follow. Suppose forces are here acting like this, they won't form the couple. They won't experience the torque. Torque is 0 otherwise. Correct? They are collinear along the one line. But here forces are separated by some distance. This force along this and this is along this. Correct? So it experiences the force on Q by the field E is QE. Force on minus Q due to the field E is minus QE. Net translating force is 0. Translating force is 0. There is no translating motion. It won't move like this. Dipole won't move in a straight line. There is no translatory motion because net force is 0. But two equal and opposite forces, equal in magnitude but opposite in forces, QE and minus QE, act at different points. They do not act at one point. They act at different points of the dipole and they form couple, which exerts torque. The action of the torque is to rotate the dipole. Just the magnitude of the torque is equal to either of the force QE multiplied by perpendicular distance between the line of action of two forces, or it is called the force arm. Perpendicular distance, this is the line of action of this force minus QE, and this is the line of action of this force. Correct? So what is the distance? Perpendicular distance is this one. This is the perpendicular distance. Correct? So what is this perpendicular distance? This is called the force arm. Correct? The sin theta, you can take sin theta is equal to force arm upon length of the dipole, that is 2a. Therefore 2a sin theta is equal to force arm, or 2a sin theta is equal to force arm or perpendicular distance. Correct? So 2a sin theta QE multiplied by force arm, that is perpendicular distance. What is perpendicular distance? 2a sin theta. What is perpendicular distance? That is the distance between the perpendicular distance between the line of action of two forces minus QE and plus QE. Minus QE and plus QE. What is the perpendicular distance? It is this one, and that is equal to 2a sin theta. So torque it will become tau is equal to 2aqe sin theta. 2aq is the dipole moment, either of the charge into distance between two charges, that is P. Pe 2aq is equal to P dipole moment. So P is sin theta, that is P cross E. If theta is 0, the sin, what will happen? Theta is 0, sin 0 will be 0. So torque is 0. If theta is 0, that is, if this is the electric field and this is the dipole, minus Qn plus Q. Torque is 0. If theta is 0, dipole will align in the direction of the field. So torque is 0. If theta is 90, suppose theta, angle between the dipole P and the electric field E is say 90, then torque will be maximum. Sin 90 is 1, correct? If theta is 0, torque is 0, dipole will be parallel to the E field. If theta is 90, torque will be maximum, because sin theta is 1. Sin theta is 1, that is sin 90 is equal to 1, that is maximum, and that is Pe. Now direction, vectorially we can represent, this is the direction of dipole P, this is the direction of electric field, then torque will be given by the right hand rule, correct? So it will be rotated in this direction. Torque will rotate the dipole in the clockwise direction, like this, correct? This is clockwise, finger gives the direction of rotation, then thumb will give the direction of torque. The action of a torque is to rotate, already you have studied in 11. In the last we saw about the dipole in a uniform electric field E. We know that the dipole placed in a uniform electric field experiences no net force, that is no translatory motion, no linear motion of a dipole placed in the uniform electric field. But it experiences a torque, the net torque. The torque is given by the value P cross E, that is P is sin theta. The torque will be 0 when theta is equal to 0, that is the dipole lying in the field, that is in parallel to the field, in the direction of, adjust itself in the direction of electric field. Torque is maximum when theta is 90, that is if dipole makes a 90 degree, this is it experiences the maximum torque. Now we will see the electric dipole placed in a uniform electric field. What happens when dipole is placed in a non-uniform field? This is a diagram of a non-uniform field. Here field is weaker, you can see the charge density is, the number of lines of force per unit area is less than that of here. So here field is stronger, this area is of stronger field. This, if you go toward the left, the field will become weaker, go toward the right, field will become stronger. If dipole is placed in such a non-uniform field, it experiences a net force, unlike in the case of the uniform field, force is 0, here it is non-zero. So dipole placed in the non-uniform field experiences a force. So it experiences force as well as torque. Net torque is not 0 and net force is also not 0. So it will have a translatory motion also. It can move in the direction of stronger field. From the figure you can see this is a stronger field, it will experience the force E1 Q. Here the weaker field is say E2, then E2 Q in this direction. The net force, E1 is greater than E2. This is a stronger field, this is a weaker field. So net force will be in the direction of stronger field. So force on minus Q is less than that of the force on plus Q. So net force is in the direction of the larger force, that is force on Q. So net force is in the direction of the stronger field. Now if P is here, P is parallel, here P is parallel, here it will explain torque and the force, here it is a parallel, that is dipole is parallel to the electric field, that is P is parallel to E. So net torque is 0 here. Why? Because they are collinear. The force arm is 0, so net torque is 0. The torque is given by the either of the force into perpendicular distance between the line of action of two forces. But perpendicular distance is 0 because they are collinear along the same line. So net torque will be 0 if dipole is placed parallel. But net force won't be 0. Net force won't be 0. This force is more because this is a stronger field area, this is a weaker field area. So E2 is equal to say F2 is equal to say E2Q is less than the F1 is equal to E1Q. So F1 is greater, so F1 minus F2 is equal to Q into bracket E1 minus E2, and the net force is in the direction of the larger force, that is along the direction of electric field. This is the direction of electric field, correct? Here. Now without changing the direction of electric field, if we place a dipole anti-parallel to the field, that is here minus Q and here plus Q, that is we know that dipole is from minus Q to plus Q, that is anti-parallel to the E. E is towards the right and dipole is towards the left, that is anti-parallel. So P is anti-parallel to electric field. Here again torque is 0 as in the above case, but net force is not 0. So again there will be translatory motion, linear motion under the action of a non-uniform field. So P as shown in the figure, so net force F minus Q is greater than the FQ. F minus Q is at the point of stronger field and minus Q is placed at the place of stronger field, whereas Q is placed at the point of weaker field. So force on minus Q will be more. So F minus Q is greater than the FQ, and that is in the direction of the, but this force, the force on Q is a minus, so that will be opposite direction, that is in the direction of the dipole against the direction of the electric field. The force on Q will be in this direction, it will repel and this will be attracted against this. So net force is in the direction of the force experienced by minus Q, that is against the electric field, that is toward the, when it is dipole placed in uniform non-uniform electric field in anti-parallel to the field, then it moves, or net force is in the direction of the decreasing field. Net force is in the direction of decreasing electric field direction, correct? Now one more example of non-uniform dipole. When we rub a comb, plastic comb or a plastic rod or a plastic strip over with our dry hair, it electrifies. It electrifies negatively. When it is brought near the tiny pieces of paper which is insulator, it will induce, it will polarize the atoms in the piece of paper. So it will, the positive charge will be attracted towards the negative. It will repel the electrons from the atom of this. They cannot leave the atom, but in atom they will orient itself by keeping the positive charge towards the rod and negative charge away from the rod. Thus it is attracted, because this is non-uniform field. Here field is stronger, here field is weaker, here is weaker, here weaker. Next topic. Now continuous charge distribution. In practice, we deal with charges much greater in magnitude than the charge on an electron. Electron charge is very less. So, we can ignore the quantum nature of charges and imagine that the charge is spread in a region in a continuous manner. Such a charge distribution is called the continuous charge distribution. Now, let us see about the force on a charge due to a continuous charge distribution. Consider a charge Q0 placed at a distance r from the charge dq. Consider a Q0 lying near a region of continuous charge distribution. The continuous charge distribution can be imagined to consist of a large number of small charges dq. This portion consists of dq, this portion again dq2, dq3, dq4. You can calculate by summing or by vector, by adding or addition or by superposition principle. According to the Coulomb's, that is Charles-Austin d Coulomb law, the force on Q0 due to dq, as according to Coulomb's law, you can calculate dF is equal to k q q2 q1 q2, that is 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 q0 dq upon r square. The total force on the charge q0 will be the vector sum of the forces exerted by all such small charges. You can take dq1, dq2, dq3 by summation or by doing integration. The F total force on the charge q0 is given by the integration of dF, that is equal to integration of 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 q0 dq, that is do the integration of the above equation. That is equal to, therefore F is equal to q0 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 dq upon r square r. This is variable quantity, take this is constant, you take outside the integration sign. Now, different types of charge distribution: the volume charge distribution, area charge distribution and line charge distribution. The volume charge distribution, when charge is distributed over the volume, that is in 3 dimensional like a sphere, then the charge distribution is called the volume charge distribution. The volume charge density is given by the charge per unit volume. Let dq charge be present in the dV volume of a charge volume charge distribution, then dq is equal to rho dV or rho is equal to dq by dV. That is, charge density is the charge contained in a unit volume. Charge contained in a unit volume is called volume charge density. It is represented by symbol rho. If dq charge contained in a volume dV, then volume charge density rho is equal to dq by dV. Unit of rho is a ratio of the unit of dq, that is charge, coulomb and volume meter cube, that is coulomb meter minus 3. Similarly, surface charge distribution. When charge is distributed over the surface, that is in 2 dimension plate, for an example, metallic plate, then charge distribution is said to be a surface charge distribution. What is surface charge density? The charge per unit area is called the surface charge density. It is denoted by sigma. The charge contained in a unit area is called surface charge density sigma, and that is equal to dq by ds. Unit of sigma is coulomb meter minus 2. Is the ratio of the unit of charge and the area. Correct. Let ds area contains the dq charge, then surface charge density sigma is equal to dq by ds. If the plate in the form of is a spherical plate, circular plate, then area is 4 pi r square. So, sigma charge density, q charge is distributed uniformly over the plate, then sigma is equal to total charge on the plate q upon total area of the plate, circular plate, 4 pi r square, coulomb meter minus 2. Now, line charge density. When charge is distributed over the line or length, then distribution of charge is said to be a line charge density. Line charge distribution. What is line charge density? The charge per unit length of a conductor is called line charge density. If charge q is uniformly distributed over a ring of radius r, then charge density lambda is equal to charge upon total length. The charge say q, total charge is say q, total length is 2 pi r. So, lambda charge density, line charge density is equal to q upon 2 pi r. If dq charge is distributed over the length dl, then line charge density lambda is equal to dq charge upon total length dl. Unit is same as c.